I just how to network without being awkward. Why would you listen to me? Because I networked before, and it was awkward. How did I fix it? I made it awkward for the other person. Let's jump into it. What's awful about networking? The usual experience for me was I dress up for an event that feels artificial, and I feel like I'm wasting time away from work, and so I'm not making any money. I'm wearing these fancy clothes, and then while I'm talking to people, we just have the regular short conversation of, "Oh, where'd you go to school? What's your major? What are your hobbies?" Ha ha. I didn't really like it at all. So I'm just trading my personal time for handshakes, but really didn't go anywhere. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I'm not charismatic enough. I don't know. This would help me out here. I went with another person. They needed to go there to network and do their thing. They're the big charismatic fella who wants to talk about stuff. This was about AI, so I'm just like, oh, I'll go there, I guess. I'll go support you. And going with him kind of gave me a different perspective, even though I kind of think about the same thing. So it was real topics, not just small talk. So we jump right into AI discussion. Actual expertise people, people who are making like these round table with the AI, not just college stories and like, oh, we're all here to have a good time and talk to people. Um, there's actually something that I felt like I could learn and take away from it rather than just all these conversations. Okay, work first, second. So I treated it as education because I was talking about AI when this was really new. So I treated it as education. Then secondary was building the connections on the second side. This is my rules for talking to new people and making it awkward for them. So I try to figure out their intentions right away. I don't dance around. I ask them directly what they're working on or what they're doing. So a young fella comes over here. I'm like, "You're trying to get a job." Yeah. Another, other guy comes in. I'm like, "Are you hiring people or no? What do you just like doing this stuff or tell me about that?" I don't ask them where they're from, what they do. The question's been asked so many times that night. Just skip them. This is where it gets fun. This is where people get awkward and it's goofy. So you can start with risky jokes. Um, if they don't like the joke and you think it's funny and you're good at telling jokes, maybe they're not that cool. If you tell them bad jokes, you should probably just stop telling jokes. So I think this approach of like not asking these like usual questions, trying to figure out their intentions, and then starting off with a risky joke gets to like gets to know them faster. Because if you tell this risky joke and then they giggle, they're gonna be more open with you automatically. If they're not, then just go to the next fella. Try to find a cool person, or do whatever you want to do here. Okay, this is what I felt was always goofy because my buddy was always going to networking events, but in my opinion, he wasn't working enough, and I probably did too much of the inverse. So I wouldn't think that. I think that the best networking is at your actual job, not meetups. Now, Hormozy says something similar. Like if you work real hard, if you have a good boss, bad boss, they're both gonna bring you up because they want what's better for themselves or for you, depending on what situation you're in. Just the people who made the most impact with me has always been at work, not at networking events. Um, yeah, here's a small talk and blah 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 blah. Yeah, here we go. That's a good work environment, not good environment. And myself, I think, even in his situation where he didn't have a job then, and he could have made like another project, like the parking app maybe, or I mean something along those lines, or just get another like small job to start proving his credibility right away, rather than just talking to people and trying to sell himself. Because a good product with a bad salesperson will still sell, but a good salesperson with a shit product, maybe he can still sell it if he lies, but if he doesn't, I don't think it's gonna sell as much. So I just building credibility. That's what I've always focused on, is just giving them evidence, not necessarily selling myself, which has been on my promotion boards. That's been my weakness, I guess. So take my opinion with a grain of salt. What actually makes people memorable? People who act normal, like real humans. I mean, that's a very subjective term, but not what they think or what they want to see. So I always showed up by myself. I actually talk about work and my actual interests, not like what you would put on a resume. The people remember the people who act like real, normal people, not these robots that everybody tends to be like at networking events. The bottom line, protect your time. All this time at networking events is away from actual projects that you can bring up in an interview and or get money. Let work build credibility. I've always focused on my strong relationships from working alongside people, not swapping business cards. Have somebody write you a letter of recommendation. I mean, this is much better, I think, than this networking stuff, at least at my scale. Be direct, figure out intentions fast, get past the scripts, talk about real work, skip what everyone else is doing. Don't ask them the same questions they've been asking 300 times. Think about this as talking to a girl at the bar. Do you want to ask her, what school do you go to? What's your major? Are you in the dorms? What's your favorite Starbucks drink? Ha ha ha. None of that stuff works. Just always be direct, I think. The best networking happens when you're focused on doing great work, not collecting context. Your project builds credibility faster than any event could. That's my opinion. You don't got to take it for uh whatever, written in stone. But have a good day. Thanks for listening. I make these to try to get better communication, try to be a little bit more professional at times, and make these all through Gamma. It saves me a whole bunch of time. Obviously, at this time, I have 25 subscribers. I'm not sponsored by them, but it seems to do pretty good. So, if you're trying to do this or just work on anything else, Gamma seems pretty good. But thank you. Talk to you later. Peace.